Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. On today's show, what will it take for an NFL team to sign Colin Kaepernick? Plus, Skip explains why he's not picking the Warriors or the Cavs to make the NBA Finals. And will the Lakers be major players in the free agent market this summer? Skip, Shannon, let's get to it. Let's get started. Let's start with the latest on Colin Kaepernick. Adam Schefter reports the Seahawks plan to bring Kaepernick in for a workout, but team officials postponed the trip after Cap would not say if he would stop kneeling during the national anthem. NFL Network reported a slightly different version, saying the Seahawks asked Kaepernick about his plans for next season, including how he'll handle the anthem, and they'll meet at a later date when Kaepernick has a firm plan in place. Right now, Russell Wilson is the only quarterback on the Seahawks roster, but Adam Schefter reported they signed Stephen Morris this morning. Morris has never thrown a pass in the NFL. Shannon, what's your reaction?
By canceling this meeting, Skip, this is verifiable proof that Colin Kaepernick not playing last year, Colin Kaepernick not being on a roster currently, has nothing to do with his ability to throw a football. Now, we've heard Commissioner Goodell, we've heard so many owners, from John Mara to Mr. Kraft to Jerry Jones. A lot of owners have said the NFL is a talent-based business, and we want the best guys. We want to win. Well, they didn't cancel this. They didn't postpone this meeting because Colin Kaepernick had a pulled hamstring. They didn't postpone this meeting because he had something, a hitch in his throwing shoulder. They postponed it because he could not commit to not kneeling during the national anthem. Not kneeling during the national anthem has nothing to do with physical ability, Skip. It has nothing to do with whether or not you can read a defense, whether or not you can throw a football. The protest is the reason why Colin Kaepernick is not playing in the NFL. And Colin must understand whether this is his third stop or his fifth, he's going to get asked this question. Yeah. He needs to be able to give them a definitive answer. If you go for a job interview and it says, okay, we're looking to hire you, can you work these hours, and you say, well, I can't commit at this time. What the hell you think they're going to do, Skip? Yeah. They're going to try and find somebody that can commit to those hours. Colin, you're going to get asked this question. You need to, when you go in there, you need to be able to give them an answer. Either you will or you won't. It's as simple as that. You waffling doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help you because they're perfectly fine with moving on. They're looking for a reason not to give you a job, Colin. Don't give them another reason. Even though this is not a reason, this should not be a disqualifying reason why Colin Kaepernick, but obviously he knows that it is. Don't give them even more ammunition. But Cap's also going to have to understand, if he wants to play, he's going to have to change his attitude. I don't want to get into a whole lot of specifics, but I know things. He's going to have to change the way he does business. It's as simple as that. Because, Cap, what you need to understand, the NFL is going on 99 years of existence. They've played with you, and they've played without you. They will continue. So the question that you're going to have to ask yourself, do I want to play and possibly, because I'm not going to view him differently, Skip. If he gets up, if he stops, says, I'm not kneeling during the anthem, I'm still going to fight for this cause because I believe we've moved it past this. I'm not going to hold that against Colin Kaepernick. But he must make a decision. He must ask himself, because I don't believe he can do both. He can, but not in the NFL, because they're not going to allow it.
Very well said, and powerfully so. Now, back to the point that Joy made before I respond to your points. Let me get this straight. The Seattle Seahawks just signed Stephen Morris, who, for those who have forgotten, played at the U, as in the University of Miami. He was just a one-year starter. He went undrafted. He has never played, as Joy pointed out, a single down or thrown a single pass in the National Football League, and he has now bounced around to his fifth team. He did not play all last year. He wasn't on a team all 2017, and he just got signed by the Seattle Seahawks, presumably as their backup. Maybe he's just the third string. I don't know. But it's not like he's now a developmental quarterback because he's been around too long for that.
Well, maybe they hope he turns into Kurt Warner.
Right? Well, isn't this laughable to you?
Is.
So let's go back to your Ravens about a week or so ago.
Actually, it was a week ago.
Just ahead of the collusion hearings starting that were going to feature some interrogations of Steve Bisciotti and Ozzie Newsome and John Harbaugh, right? They signed a Robert Griffin III. I used to be the biggest RG3 fan, but you know and I know what has happened to him or not happened to him. And he has been, the last time I saw him 2 years ago, he was a pathetic shell of his former self.
Right.
And then all last year, he did not play football. And all of a sudden, the Ravens signed him when they had a big opening that could have been a Colin Kaepernick special right there, right, on a silver platter. What is happening here? That's almost like two big slaps in Colin's face, right? It's just so offensive to me that it's laughably offensive.
I thought winning was the bottom line business of the NFL. Clearly, it's not.
Okay, so let's get back to, in your view, Shannon Sharpe, your view is that it is a legitimate and fair question to ask Colin Kaepernick or Eric Reed, how are you going to handle yourself next year as it pertains to protests?
Correct.
That's fair game,
Yes.
right?
Yes, I believe it is.
So if he answers yes, you're okay with them saying no to him? If he says, yes, I'm going to continue to protest?
Well, but here's the thing, Skip. When you protest, you have to understand, protest comes with consequences.
No doubt.
Muhammad Ali didn't take his stand and says, okay, guys, okay, I've done it, I've gone long enough. They said, look, if you're not going to the draft, you're not fighting. He says, okay. He was good with it. So
he gave up
three of his best.
It's like it's just prime time.
Yes.
It's like right in it as he's entering his prime.
Yes.
He says, for 3 years, I will sit this one out.
I'm good.
Can you imagine the money he cost himself?
Yes.
You want to talk about paying a price?
A steep price.
Okay, so consequences come, and maybe they've come now. Okay, so I think we all agree that of all the available quarterbacks, Colin Kaepernick's like in another league from anybody who's available right now, because clearly, do I even need to restate the case that he came within one controversial throw that I thought was pass interference of winning the Super Bowl, and the next year he came within one slight underthrow of getting back to another Super Bowl.
Right.
That's how good he was for those 2 years. Has he struggled in the last couple? You can argue, but he's been just beat up. He's had 3 different injuries, but he did have his last year as 49er starting quarterback, even though they were going 2-14. He threw 16 touchdowns to only 4 interceptions, and we've detailed a couple of the road games, the one at Miami. He was really good.
And as he got healthier, he played better.
He did. So we agree with that. And yet, I'm going to say what I've been saying from the very start. It's just painfully clear to me that these 32 owners, and I can't speak for all 32 of them, but a majority of these 32 owners, if you want to call it collusion, call it collusion. They jointly agreed that Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reed were just bad for business last year, bad for their bottom line, right?
Yes.
Now, can I detail that by the ratings? Do I know that for a fact that they were bad for business? Because I'm not sure about it.
Right.
There were many injuries, like Aaron Rodgers was gone. We can go on and on with all the big names that dropped
Deshaun
out.
Watson,
Deshaun Watson. We can just keep going on and on. Did losing those superstars hurt ratings? Sure it did. We could just
Odell Beckham.
Odell, there's a good one. Yeah.
J.J. Watt.
It was a bad year for injuries. It really was. Okay. Are we sure that the protests were the bottom line reason to some ratings fall off? I don't know that for a fact, but I think that's what they have decided.
They attributed to.
Right?
Correct.
Okay. So is that collusion? Is it collusion? Because I don't know. Now I'm out of my league and way out of my lane. I don't know if you can prove in a court of law that just because these owners got together and said, you're bad for business, that's collusion to keep him out. I don't know. But by all accounts, everything I've read by people who do know the legalities, they think that Colin and Mark Garagos, his lawyer, they've kind of got the NFL on the run a little bit here. Like they're starting to score in the collusion hearings. That's just their takeaway.
I mean, it doesn't help the NFL's case when they postpone a meeting because a guy can't answer them whether or not he will kneel during the national anthem.
Okay, which brings me to my final biggest question about this whole scenario of what happened yesterday. Doesn't it feel like a high-stakes game of chicken that they're playing? The NFL versus Colin, where as the collusion hearing is going on, was it Jerry Jones got interviewed yesterday,
yes.
right? Okay, as it's going on, suddenly Seattle calls Cap, and then it becomes this high-stakes game of who said what about what exactly, because then something transpires or whatever, and then the NFL puts out its version of it while Cap and company put out their version of it, right? And they're kind of conflicting versions.
Right.
So are we sure this isn't just a game of collusion chess that's being played here?
Because you got to be careful, Skip, because anything these owners say can be held and will be used against them.
Yeah.
They know that. So they're very, very mindful of how they navigate the Colin Kaepernick. But Cap must understand, Eric Reed, Cap kneeled first, Eric Reed stood beside him. So basically, he's like when Dr. King, and then you had Andy Young.
Yep.
You had Joseph Lowry. You have Abernathy. Those were his right-hand men. So they were lumped in with Dr. King. So Eric Reed is lumped in with Colin Kaepernick. You know this as the two faces of the kneeling protest. You know, Skip, you're going to get asked that question. Both of these young men have had over a year to say, I know they're going to ask me these questions. When they ask, this is what I'm going to say. Okay. Either I'm going to stand or I will continue to kneel.
Okay.
But to say at this time, I can't commit one way or another, why not? Okay. Because what is going to because if you say yes, I'm looking at it like this, Skip. Okay, if you say yes, what will happen that will force you to go back down on a knee? And if you say no, I mean yes, you continue to stand. I mean, I just don't get it, Skip. I mean, after a year and a half, you can't answer one way or another a definitive yes or a definitive no.
Okay, so are you okay that Seattle said no yesterday, again, given the
They
reporting?
say we'll be willing to circle back when you have a more definitive answer.
Okay, all right, I got it. So you know Cap a little bit.
I do.
Gut feeling, bottom line, Shannon Sharpe believes.
Colin Kaepernick is not playing football.
Okay, and now to the deeper question. Does he care more at this point in his life about returning to be a quarterback in the NFL or to continue to be the leader of what became an extremely crucial movement in the history of this country?
Skip, for me, and I hope Cap understands this, his light will never be as bright as it is when he's playing on an NFL team. Tim Tebow is still doing great things, but it does not generate the attention that it did when he was quarterback of the Denver Broncos.
Yep.
He's still helping children. He's still been in hospitals, but it doesn't it doesn't get the attention. And so what Cap...
He does have some advantage. He's still on television.
Right, and he's still playing a professional, trying to play a professional sport.
Okay, go ahead.
So, Colin, the question you're going to have to ask yourself, and when you go in there, says, okay, if I stop kneeling, what are you going to do to help me advance this cause? Because this doesn't stop. There's still things going on, even as I stand up. So what are you willing to do to help me advance this? You know, Skip, people, and everybody's like, well, he did not kneel during the game. It's on the peripheral. So you got the national anthem. Skip, let me ask you a question. These teachers that were protesting in West Virginia, the teachers that were protesting in Arizona and Oklahoma, are they protesting on their time or the school's time? See, Colin Kaepernick, how does he hurt the viewer? He doesn't hurt the viewer. You don't like what he's doing, you don't get to watch. They're hurting these kids because these kids are sitting at home. They're not getting educated.
That's a fact.
But see, and it's like, well, they're trying, and I get it. You making $30,000 a year, and I've seen pictures of these classrooms. But I think what Colin Kaepernick is doing might be even more special, Skip, because it's not him. It takes see, Skip, if I can change a tire and I change my own tire, okay, well and good. But if I stop and help a stranger, to change his tire or
Yep.
her tire. Colin Kaepernick is trying to fight for people that don't have voices, that cannot stand up and be seen. So he should be applauded. But he must understand that everybody is not on his side. Given America's history, that's just the way it is.
Okay.
So going into a job interview, Skip, just like with you, with any job, I don't know if you've ever been fired, but if you get fired, normally when you go on the job, they ask you, okay, what happened at your last place of employment? I don't care to talk about that. The people are like, oh, what you mean you don't care to talk about that? That's not how it works, Skip. I'm sorry.
Okay, so we agree that a majority of these white billionaires have decided you're just bad for our business.
Correct.
Does that mean that a majority are racist? It might, but it might not. I don't know for a fact. That's kind of where we're getting with this whole discussion, right? Does that mean they're completely insensitive to the cause that Colin is leading? Maybe, maybe not. They would argue, I think, that, wait a second, at the end of last football season, we just dedicated millions of dollars to your community causes, right?
Yes.
And Malcolm Jenkins, the leader of that player coalition that some of the black players don't agree with, starting, I think, with Colin and Eric Reed, right? But Malcolm Jenkins, highly respected, now Super Bowl champion, leader of the Philadelphia defense, we talked about him the other day, right? He said, I'm good. Like, I appreciate this, and I'm ready not to protest anymore, right? Now, was he bought off or silenced with, I don't know, at least, I think the money is going to be paid to community causes, right?
I think Malcolm Jenkins has started to realize, and I hope this is what Cap and Eric Reed, you're doing a great job, but you don't have the reach of these rich billionaire owners. So you probably need to say, you know what, let me get back in the league and let me ask, what are you willing to do? Can you help me advance this? Because if we were here, that was to get people's attention. The kneeling was to get people's attention. Okay, now Skip, we got first quarter, second quarter, third, and fourth quarter. Now that we're at halftime and now we're getting ready to go into the third quarter, what's the new stage? Where do we go now? Where do we go now, Cap? Where do we go now, Eric Reed? I mean, what are we going to do?
Well, I mean, the purpose of this protest was to bring attention to injustice. You're never going to end racism. You're never going to end, unfortunately, these murders, but the purpose was to bring attention to it, which it did. All movements evolve. But what it comes down to is these owners aren't worried about black and white necessarily. I mean, some of them are, but I won't paint with a broad brush. I think that they're worried about green. So it wasn't about people not watching football. If you watch football, you're going to watch football. And it's not even during the football game. So you can't argue that. I think it's just polarization. So half the people were told a narrative about what this protest is really about and believed that, and the other half knew what it was about and were angry that Kaepernick wasn't in the league. So you have polarization, not necessarily people not watching it. And these owners and people are quick to bring up Muhammad Ali and Dr. King, just dismissing the fact that Dr. King was assassinated, and Muhammad Ali had 3 years of his career taken away for standing up for what he believes in. Exactly. So, you know, the bottom line is all of this has to evolve, and you're right. He is going to be asked about it. Eric Reed is going to be asked about it. What's the next step? They need to figure that out because it was to bring attention to it, and the attention has been brought. So what happens now? Now new conversations have to be had. So that said, overall, you know, as far as priorities go, Reuben Foster is still on the 49ers
What do you do about Vontaze? And here, Skip, the problem.
Priorities are still in line.
You know what I have a problem with? Is when owners say, our fans. You know who they're talking about, Skip, as if we don't matter. Like, we don't buy pizza.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
We don't buy memorabilia. We don't come to games.
It polarized people. It split everyone down the middle. You had to pick a side.
Correct.
And whatever you're closest to is going to be the side that you hear.
Well, we've started picking sides, Skip, in late 2015 and all the way through 2016. And on that first Tuesday in November, you had to pick a side. You pick this or you pick that. So in the end of now, it's not the Cowboys against the Packers. It's not the Broncos against the Raiders. You here or you here. That's what we are.
Or you don't vote.
Exactly.
No mercy. Hey guys, Joy Taylor here. Before we get back to the Undisputed Podcast, I want to tell you about Toyo Tires. UFC fighters are tough. You know what else is tough? Toyo tires. That's why Toyo has been a proud sponsor of the UFC. Just like UFC fighters, Toyo tires are built for battle. It's an all-or-nothing philosophy. Durability, aggressive design, on- and off-road capabilities, yes to all of them. Living life on the highway? Toyo has you covered. Spending some serious time off-road? They have a tire for that too. No matter what you drive, Toyo has what you need, and frankly, these tires just look cool. Trust me, nothing ruins your day faster than being stranded on the side of the road with a flat tire. Any vehicle, every terrain, all or nothing. The next time you need tires, ask for Toyo. To experience more, visit toyotires.com/UFC. That's TOYO tires.com/UFC. Now let's get back to the show.
No mercy.
The Warriors are limping into the playoffs, but they're still co-favorites to win the West, according to Westgate. The Rockets are the other favorite after their 65-win season. The Warriors start their playoff series with the Spurs tomorrow, and they're expected to be without Steph Curry for at least the first round. So, Shannon, who will win the West?
I believe the Warriors will win the West. Skip, I believe the days of them going undefeated while reaching the finals or losing one or two games while reaching the NBA finals, I believe those days are long gone. They're very vulnerable. I believe they're going to struggle with the San Antonio Spurs in the first round. I can see this going the entire distance. I can see this being a 4-3 series.
Wow, you love my Spurs.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Popovich has them right to play. And this is a different team without Steph Curry. Steph is what makes this team so dangerous because his ability to let the ball go from anywhere on the court. And he continuously moves. So do Klay Thompson. And so now a bigger scoring burden will be on Kevin Durant. Okay. And if I'm Kevin Durant, I refuse to let Kevin Durant beat me. Draymond, you're going to have to probably average, 20, 10, and 8. Klay Thompson, you're going to have some monster games. I just refuse to let Kevin Durant go get 35 and 15 like we know he's capable of doing. It's just hard for me to believe. I understand that Steph is out for the first round. And I am a little concerned because when he comes back, he's still susceptible to being injured again. I do not believe they can get out of the Western Conference without Steph Curry. I'm going to stand by that. So they're very vulnerable.
Okay.
Probably more vulnerable than they've ever been at any point in time.
I agree.
But if he's back and he's 90%, they're coming up out of the West. Houston had a phenomenal season, but I just do not believe that a team can beat them 7 times in 2 weeks other than that guy that he plays in the East.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Sharpe.
What?
You're sharp when it comes to the NBA, and you're probably right about the Golden State Warriors. And I hope you're right about the Spurs taking them to 7 games, because I would love to at least see 7 games, but I do not see that. So I will start my prediction with this series, because you're right. Obviously, without Steph, they're as vulnerable as they have ever been. I think they received a great break, that it fell that the Spurs would be their first-round opponent because the Spurs have done nothing but overachieve while Golden State has finished the year underachieving, albeit without Steph. But they lost 10 of their last 17 games. That's not very good. The Spurs were just scratching and clawing and overachieving all the way home and had a chance to go as high as the 3 seed, but they're just not good enough without Kawhi. Why did you do this to me, Leonard? And I'm going to say it, this is the last time. Yeah, you wish.
I know you wish.
Yeah. I mean, I'd just fall on my floor. I would. If he shows up, when is it? It's at noon here. It's right?
Yeah,
3 o'clock.
noon on Saturday.
Here. Yeah, noon here is first game at Golden State. Look, I'm going to say it one last time because I got to get this out of my system one last time. Kawhi Leonard quit on my team.
Stop, Skip.
He quit because he crumbled under the pressure to live up to MVP predictions this year, because a lot of people, starting with our Chris Broussard, predicted he would be the MVP, and he crumbled under the pressure to become the face of the franchise. That's what happened, and he's obviously a top 5 player. You could make an argument he's a top 2 player. Well, you know what I think about the top 2-way player.
Yeah, you know.
But he used to be. But the moment that my Spurs began to crumble happened last year in Game 1, about a year ago. It was, it's the conference finals last time, but it was Game 1 at Golden State, middle of third quarter. My team's up by 23 points, and Zaza a cheap shot happened to Kawhi Leonard. And that was the beginning of the end of my Spurs as I knew and loved them, because Manu has been the sixth man of the year, and my team has overachieved and completely flipped its identity from the best road team in the NBA to one of the best home teams. Why did that happen? Because the Spurs fans have been so spoiled by the dynastic Spurs that they used to just sit back and wait for the team to win at home. Now they're inspired by the underdog Spurs trying to win at home, and they came within one game of having the best home record in the league.
The fans weren't cheering because they were so boring.
Well,
I keep telling you that.
Oh, so it was just broccoli Spurs. Yeah, they were boring. I love broccoli, by the way. I eat broccoli every day. Do you?
No.
You should. That's what's wrong with you.
It's a superfood.
No, it is. It's nature's
Girl
most
Scout
perfect
cookies are
food.
superfoods. Them tagalongs.
Really?
Yeah, them do-si-dos.
Okay.
I got me a sleeve of them Thin Mints on ice right now.
Okay, so here's what's going to happen. Golden State's going to win its first 3 games of the series at home. Spurs will win the first 2 games at home, so it's going to be 3-2 going back to San Antonio, and my Spurs will run out of psychological underdog gas, and that will be the end of that.
So you're saying 4-2 Warriors?
6 games, they'll be done. I hope it goes 7. That would be a sight for sore eyes, but I don't think that'll happen. I'd actually give them a chance to win a Game 7 at Golden State, but I don't think it's going to get that far.
Okay.
And yet, to your point, the rest of the Western Conference playoffs will be dictated by Steph Curry's health. Will he come back? It's always amusing to me. They project, he's just going to miss the first round. Well, how do you know what an injury is going to do?
Right.
You know for sure? Really?
Exactly.
Can the doctor tell you, well, exactly on April 20th or what? You don't know this.
Nope.
And then when he does set foot back on the court and he tries to play high-speed NBA playoff basketball, what will happen to said knee? Well, we don't know, right?
And he's probably going to be playing with a brace.
He probably will. So will he be an X factor? Yes, he will. Well, now I'm going to tell you who will not be an X factor in the playoffs. Russell Westbrook is about to take over these playoffs. This has been his year, not that he wasn't the MVP last year, but he is playing at the highest level of intensity and ferocity I've ever seen on a nightly, possession-by-possession basis of any player I've ever watched in all my years of watching the NBA. I have never seen anything like this Russell Westbrook. He's playing at his highest level.
Yes.
He's in the center of his prime right now. He's playing the best basketball of his life, and he's playing a brand of basketball I've never seen before. So he is leading a Thunder team. Again, the record is no different than last year, but it just feels different. And now I got to throw in another injury caveat. They lost Corey Brewer to a sprained knee 2 nights ago, the last regular season night against Memphis. He says he's going to play Game 1. I can't trust it because I can't know. But I told you after 2 games, Corey Brewer changed the way Oklahoma City plays basketball. He's a veteran. He's long. He defends. He's much better offensive player than Robertson was.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So all of a sudden, they went up a level with Corey Brewer in the starting lineup, and they're a different team.
Okay, let me ask you this. What you going to do about Paul George? Now you believe in it?
He's a complimentary star, and that's all. He's not a superstar, but he's in the perfect role alongside Russell Westbrook. He's a little better Oladipo. And I do think Melo will rise and shine when the stakes get a little higher, because he's had his moments against the better teams this year. Against the good teams, Melo has played big.
Yes.
And I expect him to play big again. And I don't love their depth, but I like it enough that I think they have a chance.
Hold on, Skip. You've been talking about Utah
Here I go.
and Rudy Gobert and
I'm about to talk about this. By far, the best first-round matchup is Utah-Oklahoma City.
Okay.
It's on both sides of the bracket, West or East. This is by far the toughest first-round matchup, right?
Yeah.
A 4 or 5, because Utah right now would win the Eastern Conference. That's how good
they
Utah.
wouldn't.
They would. I'm sorry, they're just playing at supreme level. But Oklahoma City did manage to win home court advantage over Utah. This will go 7 games, and Russell Westbrook will rise above Rudy Gobert to win a close Game 7 in Oklahoma City, and they will advance to the Houston Rockets, who, by the way, will sweep Minnesota. They beat them all 4 times during the regular season. They will sweep them in the first round of the playoffs, and everybody will say, here they come. This is a new Houston Rockets team, and guess what Russ will do to the Rockets? He will do to them what he did last Saturday night.
Oh, my goodness.
Last Saturday night. What happened at Houston? Did you watch 108-102 Russell?
But you told me that was a meaningless ball game on Saturday.
I did not tell you. I didn't tell you that. But Houston played hard
A game in early April means something?
Yeah, it meant a lot. It was a big psychological boost for the Oklahoma City Thunder. They have played great against good teams this year. All the best teams.
So you're telling me, now you want me to believe the guy that you said has been the MVP the entire season is going to lose a game to the 4th seed in the West?
Well, that's the regular season. They had the best year in the history of the Houston Rockets, right?
No, I'm saying
65 wins.
You got the MVP. You just added Chris Paul.
What have I said from day one this year? I don't trust James Harden, Chris Paul. I used to call him CP0 because he has 0 rings and has never even gotten to a conference final. And I don't trust Mike D'Antoni. And I think what happened against my Spurs last year in the second round of the playoffs, history will repeat this time, even with Chris Paul. And I believe the Oklahoma City Thunder, it's going to take 7 more games, but I believe they will win a Game 7 against James Harden and CP3 and Mike D'Antoni in Houston. Another 7-game series, and they advance. And then it gets delicious because we will have Russell Westbrook against Kevin Durant. The former co-stars will meet in the conference finals. And you can call me crazy, but I just have a feeling this is going to be Russ's revenge. That's what I think. I think it's meant to be. I think he's waited a whole year to get even. Remember, he was watching Sister Act 2 during the finals last year.
He was watching KD.
He might have been. You're probably right about that, but he posted he was watching Sister Act 2.
It's a good movie.
And so this will be it. And it's going to require that Steph is not quite right. I just have a feeling he won't be quite right, and this team hasn't been quite right the whole year.
But even if he's not quite right, the difference is on the 73-9 team, Steph not being a little off, the number 2 guy was Harrison Barnes. Steph's not off this year. The number 2 guy that will pick up the slack is KD. That's a huge difference. That's a huge that guy is special, Skip.
You told me he wasn't that special.
I've never said Kevin Durant's not special.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that 7-foot monster. What?
You've been ridiculing his play over the last month.
No,
right?
Skip, don't do that. Don't do that.
Am I right, Joy?
No,
I think that's
Joy,
right.
he's not right, Joy.
Yeah.
No, I've always heaped praise on Kevin Durant. I just do not think he's the best player in the NBA currently. That title, that pedestal, the guy that sits on that pedestal resides in the East. You know that. Everybody else knows that. Everybody that comes out here tells you the exact same thing, be it on camera or off camera, and you don't want to believe it. Kevin Durant is special. And I believe if Steph Curry comes back, now he's going to have to be up there. Now, he can't be 50% hobbling around out there and says, well, just his presence. No, the West is too deep this year for just his presence to be the difference in the ball game. If he's 90%, they're coming up out of the West.
I think
so you get nothing in Portland and
No, I don't. I'm sorry. I get a lot of Utah, but they drew Oklahoma City in the first round, and that's tough, man.
Portland just beat the brakes off Utah.
Okay, so what? You got Portland in the finals? Is that what you're saying? Okay.
I mean, you've been talking about they went 25-3 over the last 28 games. They got the rookie of the year in Donovan Mitchell. They got Rudy Gobert. They got Ingles.
Yeah.
Ingles, or however you say his last name.
Ingles.
Yeah. You've been talking about, that's the store. Yeah, I used to shop at Ingles. You've been talking about him all this time. Now
but they just ran into Russell Westbrook, and he is a force of nature.
If they're as good as you say they are, they should be able to handle old Russ. Now, if they're as good as you say they are.
Hey, have you been checking out Steven Adams lately? Have you checked out how Oklahoma City is playing defense?
Whoa!
Have you checked it out? By the way, Russell Westbrook, you ought to look at defensive win shares.
Stop, Skip.
He's 24th in the league. Russell Westbrook is 24th in defensive win shares.
You just was killing Steven Adams yesterday, talking about how could he let Russell Westbrook at 6'3" out-rebound him. You was just killing him.
I wasn't killing him.
Yeah, you were.
No, I just said Russell goes and gets the rebounds. If they don't want him, he's going to get them. This is the second best rebounding team to Philadelphia. We're about to talk about Philadelphia in the league, and that will serve
We'll worry
them
about
well.
rebounds because it's hard to rebound the ball when you take it out of the net.
Yeah, Oklahoma City is rebounding and defending at the highest.
Take it out of the net.
Yeah.
No, they're not. Skip, stop.
Yeah, I got it. And you can call me crazy. Maybe I'm picking hard overhead, but I just got a feeling this is Russell Westbrook's revenge.
Round two.
This is his year.
It's better than last year. Yeah. They'll go one round further than they went last year. Round two is where this. Hey, Skip, you go to the ride. No matter how great the roller coaster is, it stops after about 90 seconds or 120 seconds. Okay, this ride for them will last about 3 or 4 minutes, but then it stops. Then somebody else gets on. So the next team in the next round will take their place. Okay?
So Russell Westbrook is 24th in defensive win shares individual, and LeBron is 309th? How could that be? The best player on the planet is in the 300s?
First of all, they got Paul George, and they got Steven Adams. They got rim protectors. They got elite defenders.
They do.
Which the Cavs do not have.
Corey Brewer's an elite defender.
He got there late, and they had Robertson for a while. So that's the difference. So you keep saying that. It's these defensive teams. Because remember when Kyrie Irving was number 5? Kyrie, and you and I both know, Kyrie Irving was not a top 5 defensive player at his position. You knew that. I knew that.
He fell out?
Yeah.
Now he's out of the playoffs.
And y'all about to fall out too.
No mercy. The Cavs are the number 4 seed, but according to Westgate, they're the favorite to win the East. LeBron is a perfect 12-0 in the first round playoff series. The Raptors are the top seed and have the second best odds, followed by the Sixers. So Shannon, who will win the East?
Come on, shock me. Say something truthful.
I think this team colors are wine and gold.
Oh, really?
Sometimes they have CAVS on the chest. Sometimes they have the land.
How much wine did you drink last night?
I drank nothing. Oh, you see old Brian post that old wine? Got some wine. They sent him some old nice parting gift.
Really, did it?
Yeah.
I don't follow him. I don't know.
You a hater.
Yeah. You literally follow him
I
everywhere
do.
he
No,
goes.
I don't.
Yeah.
I like the Cavaliers, but the Sixers can be a problem. They have the best 1-2 punch the Cavaliers can possibly face. They're better than Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan.
I'd say.
They're better than Giannis and Chris Middleton.
They're
better than Beal and Wall.
Way better.
They're better than Jaylen Brown and Jason Tate. Whomever you want to put into that mix.
That is
I
correct.
don't even know who the 1-2 punch. Who's the 1-2 punch at Miami?
Really?
Oh, okay. So they're better than. That's it. So that's what the Cavaliers will be up against. I believe the Cavs will come out there. T. Lou said they go in 10 deep. Normally they go 9, they go in 10 deep. And the odd man out might be Double T because he got a lot of issues that he's gonna have to sort through. Joy.
You can't help yourself. You just have to talk.
I ain't said that. I ain't said nothing. Skip me. Hey, man, I can imagine there a lot of screaming in that delivery room, and it wasn't that baby. Hey.
No, he can't help.
Are you sure that wasn't all scripted? I'm just asking.
No, that was scripted. Hey, Joy, they been up. Don't play like that.
I don't know.
I mean, we can play about a lot of things, but Skip, don't play like that.
Could be.
Hey, no.
It's all a reality show.
Stop it. I like the Cavaliers. I love what LeBron James has done this year. Kevin Love, I just need to keep him healthy for 2 months. Kevin Love healthy for 2 months. That's all I need, because there'll be plenty of love in the air. And JR, see what we done with JR, we got him coming off the bench now, but we let him be the guy that's running the offense. And so we give him some more. See, the thing what we had to learn about
your suggestion?
No, what we had to learn about JR, he's not a guy, he's a guy that you gotta, give him a task.
Yep.
You just can't say JR, JR, we're gonna run the offense through you. We're gonna let you initiate the offense. JR like, for real? After what I throw soup on old guy, you don't let me do that? He says, yeah, JR, you can run the offense. And so ever since then, JR been playing well for us. Now, we don't know who's going to be our 2 guard. It's going to be Hood or Kyle Korver. But I feel very comfortable, no matter who it is, that second unit, LeBron will be able to rest for 2-3 minutes at a clip, as opposed to last year, he rested 1 minute, and they gave up a 12-point lead. That won't happen this year.
Okay.
So with those newcomers, I feel very comfortable.
Bunch of newcomers.
Yeah, but don't worry about it. We got that old comer there. Yeah. We still got that headliner.
He's old.
We still got that headliner. So no matter how, think about this, Skip. If you go to a comedy club and they say we got 15 newcomers, but the headliner is Eddie Murphy, guarantee you're sold out.
You waiting for Eddie?
Oh, yeah. Because if Netflix will pay Dave Chappelle $20 million, what can old Eddie get? Eddie get 150 for a comedy show. So LeBron, so all them newcomers don't mean nothing when you got that headliner and bring it to the stage. Let's put some hands together. You know it. 6'9" from Akron, Ohio. 250 pounds, blowing DeGoria James on December 30th, 1984. Let's put some hands together for Mr. LeBron Ramon James.
Has he ever made you laugh? No.
Give it up.
You really are the Flavor Flav.
Yeah.
Give it up to him, Skip.
So, I will give you this. Your Cavaliers have two very dangerous games. It's game one of the first round series that will commence at about 3:30 Eastern on Sunday, and it will be game 7 of the conference finals, which I believe will be played in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
So you just bypassing the baby dinosaur.
I'll get there in just a second. But back to game one with all those newcomers, because you're going to have to introduce all the newcomers first, and they're going to have to go on stage cowering, shaking, spotlight bright, and they might be starting to melt under that new spotlight because they don't know that spotlight, and it's different, man. As everybody always says, LeBron's different in the postseason, right? Ooh, he flips that switch. He's 0 dark 30. He's in a different head, different mode, different body language. And it sort of shakes up the locker room. Who is this guy, and what are we doing now? Rodney, will that 3-ball fall against those Pacers? Will it? Are you so good?
I feel good.
Jordan Clarkson, you could come in and light it up.
Light it up.
Yeah, okay, here we go. And what about you, Larry Nance Jr.? Your hand's going to get a little shaky if you got a late game free throw to make? I don't know, maybe. I like this Pacer team. If the Pacers win or steal game 1 in Cleveland as a 6.5-point underdog, although it's only 6.5, that's not like double digits, right?
I mean, how many Golden State favored by at home?
I don't know.
Not by many. So.
I think they're 8. Maybe.
Oh, really? 8 against a 7 seed. Yeah. And you think being 6.5-point favorite against a 5 seed?
Yeah. So here comes, I told you yesterday, an Indiana team that is much mentally tougher than it was with George Paul as its superstar. I told you that yesterday. I'm going to stand by it. This team will be tougher on LeBron than last year's Pacers because last year's Pacers had him and let him off the hook. 3 times in that first round series, they had him and let him off the hook because George Paul let him off the hook every time.
Skip, how do you think the big fish get big? The little ones end up on the hook, in the boat, in the frying pan. Yep. The big ones get off. That's what LeBron is.
Yep.
The big fish.
So I'm here to tell you or warn you.
What?
If the Pacers steal game 1, you're in big trouble because this Pacers team will not back off. The one thing I love about Lance Stevenson is he will not back off from your beast of the East.
Tell him to stop with them shenanigans.
He'll shenanigan. You just watch. He'll blow in his ear, untie his shoe. He'll do something. He might tie his shoelaces together at the free throw line, for all I know. But Lance loves to guard LeBron James. He loves to goad LeBron James. He loves to get under his skin and get into the back of his head because he gets deep in that psyche.
Hey, what's Lance Stevenson? What's his playoff record against LeBron?
Probably not very good.
Over.
Yeah. Well, but he's big enough and brazen enough that he gets up into LeBron when it matters. Down the stretch in a fourth quarter, he can bother LeBron James. And the rest of the team is just a good, solid, tough-minded basketball team with a Nate McMillan, who I've always deeply respected as a coach. They will be well prepared. They will play hard. They will play smart. They're a very good defensive team. And again, if they steal game 1, you got trouble. If Cleveland wins game 1, they might get them back on their heels, and it'll go 6 games. But if they steal game 1, we're going to have a different conversation on Monday morning. 5, okay. So I'm going to concede right now that Cleveland will win game 1. So that means, as you call them, the baby dinosaurs come in round 2. Yep. It will be a sweep. No, ain't
gonna be no sweep.
When DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry see the beast of the East merely just step onto the court, they just shrink. And their arms get like dinosaur shorts.
Skip,
and they can't get rebounds.
Skip, it's not.
They got little short dinosaurs.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
I mean, when I'm standing on the land, I'm not afraid of no great white. It's when I'm in the water with him that it petrifies me.
And they're gonna be in the water.
Everybody talks about, LeBron James. He ain't all that until he steps on the court.
And they will be in the water with him.
Yeah.
And they will be gone in 4 chomps. Chomp, chomp, chomp. It will be over. 4 chomps, sweep.
No, I'll give him.
I got to sweep.
Nah, we got to keep this thing going. We already done made Adams. Done called. We're going to go let it go sit.
Are you afraid of Toronto?
No, afraid.
Huh? Why don't you say it's a sweep? Have the guts. Have the
already,
courage of your conviction.
What happened? That big meteorite happened about 70 million years ago and wiped out the dinosaurs.
Yeah?
Yeah, we got one 33.
who-
We got a 33-year-old
Well, then
meteorite.
call it
coming.
a sweep like you think it's a sweep.
I'm going to give 4-2.
4-2. You're giving Toronto 2 games
Yeah.
after all that ridicule? You're giving them. How
You're
could
the
you give
number
them
1
2
seed.
games?
You won 60 games.
Who cares?
And you about to get.
What happens in the postseason? Every postseason.
It's not going to be like what Atlanta. Atlanta won 60 games and they got swept. It's not going to be that. DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry, they're a good team. Valanciunas is a big guy. Van Fleet, who is in the running for 6th man of the year. They got a lot of good players. Their bench is very good.
You're afraid of the Raptors. I didn't see this coming.
You know,
it's okay.
Look, what guys are always in the number 1 slot. No matter what if we talking about LeBron, we can talk about LeBron.
Yeah.
We can talk about Steph, KD, James Harden. On the moniker, who's number 1? Who's the A side? Who's the A side?
Okay. So let's get back to the other first-round series that is very intriguing because Joel Embiid is not yet ready to play, or so he says. He said he might, but probably won't play game number 1. Well, that could be dicey because for the same reason I said you could be in trouble. If Miami steals game 1 in Philadelphia, they could be in a little trouble because they're all a little new to this also.
Yeah,
But
very new. Like, hadn't happened in a long, long time.
Yeah.
A long, long time.
Long time.
Okay.
So what I'm about to say obviously hinges upon Joel Embiid coming back strong, like being 100% Joel Embiid. Will he be? He had an orbital fracture. You've had one. He's going to have to wear a mask, I
Yes.
guess, for a while. For how long? The whole playoffs? Will it bother him? Will it bother his shooting? Will it just bother his psyche? Some guys just don't like it.
What he's about 3 weeks removed, a month removed now from having that injury. So by the time he plays, I mean, he should be okay. Wear the mask. I mean, you're going to be, make sure you don't want to turn that left side. So, yeah, it's a painful injury, but I think he'll be okay. Ain't a whole lot of guys can get up there and hit him in his face, Joy.
No, that's true. So if he comes back strong, I'm going to remind you that this Philly team just finished the year winning 16 straight games. And recently they won at Cleveland. And then last Friday night they beat Cleveland in Philadelphia after blowing them out in the first half by 30 points and scoring 78 in the first half.
Yeah.
78 points they scored.
Game 7, they spotted him.
Wow.
And like to run them down.
And they almost ran them down. I got you. But again, 78. And then last night, the last night of the regular season, 2 nights ago, against Milwaukee, they scored 80 in the first half. This team is on fire. This team is rolling. Threes
Going
are just
good.
raining.
It's going good. Everything
Yeah.
going good.
So I'm going to remind everybody, the Sixers are the number 1 defensive team in the NBA. And the Sixers are the number 1 rebounding team in the whole NBA. And the Sixers have added a whole lot of veteran toughness and presence in Ilyasova and Bellinelli to go along with the J.J. Redick, who makes 42% of his three-point shots. And all of a sudden, we had a Markelle Fultz sighting. The last night of the season, he had a triple-double off the bench as the leader of the second unit, and he can get his own shot, man. He looked like the first pick in the draft all of
Yeah.
a sudden. So you got that coming off the bench. This is a deep team.
They're deep.
And these are the 2 guys in the middle who can keep LeBron from the rim. It really bothers him. Their length, Ben Simmons and Embiid, bother him.
We're averaging like 33, 34 points, like 9 and 9 against Philly. Nobody can keep us from nowhere. We go where we want, when we want to go there, Skip. So nothing is off limits to us.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, this young team, I'm going to say it again, reminds me of the 1992 Dallas Cowboys, Troy Emmett Michael, who broke through a whole year before anybody thought they would break through. That's what this feels like to me. And if it does get to Game 7 in their house at Philly, because they won the 3 seed over the 4 seed Cavs.
I'm shoving everything to the center of the
Are
table.
you? You're going to push
Everything.
it all in?
All in.
Okay.
I'm riding Braun.
I can't wait. I can't wait because I'm riding with the Sixers.
Okay.
That they will beat LeBron and company in a Game 7 in Philadelphia.
Have you
and I think they'll beat them convincingly.
Have you seen
I
the-
just think they're better.
Have you seen LeBron James' numbers in an elimination game with a chance of him to have to go home? Oh,
Really?
Skip. I mean, I think only Mike by a 10th of a point or something got better numbers because last year triple double in game 5, triple double game 7 the year before.
Who has better numbers?
Michael Jordan got a
Oh,
couple better
really?
numbers. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm glad you noted that.
Yeah.
It's odd.
Yeah.
Scoring numbers. You know, there's more to playing basketball than just scoring the basketball. Rebounding,
Defense.
assisting. We got more points than he got. We about to pass Tim Duncan in minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Does LeBron know what it feels like to lose an NBA Finals?
LeBron does, yeah. Tim Duncan does too.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
Stolen.
did you
He
share?
was 5-1 in the NBA Finals. Should have been 6-0.
Who put that L on?
You know.
I don't know.
Ray
A guy
Allen.
named Ray Allen.
No.
Skip predicted a Thunder versus Sixers finals matchup, and Shannon predicted a Warriors versus Cavs matchup for the 4th straight year. So, Shannon, who will win it all?
This is what the people want to see, Skip. This is what they want to see. No other matchup is what the people want to see.
They want Russell Westbrook?
No, they don't. Nobody wants that but you in Oklahoma City.
Nobody?
No, nobody. No one but
really?
you and OKC Thunder fans.
Oh, great.
This is what the people want. They've been clamoring for this all year. About to make it 2-2. Steph's banged up. Clay's banged up.
You better
Draymond
hope they're banged up. You better
and
hope.
LeBron James goes super beast mode. He goes
That
super
happens.
Pac-Man.
So are you going to be able to live with 3 and 6 in the finals?
No, I'll be able to live with 4 and 5 better, though.
So I'm probably way wrong about what I am predicting here, and my prediction does hinge upon Steph's health or lack thereof. But I believe these whole playoffs are about to belong to Russell Westbrook, whose Thunder will beat Utah and Houston and Golden State on the way to beating the Philadelphia 76ers in the NBA Finals in 6 games. That's what I think.
No, Skip. I've never felt you be more wrong than I feel right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh, how many cases of due do you owe me?
Well, we go. Well, hey, guess what? I'm gonna get it back.
Oh,
Starting
really?
round 2,
Oh,
I'm gonna
you
get it
better
back.
hope
Yeah,
so.
yes.
Yeah, you better
because
hope so.
I'm picking against the Thunder in round 2. I don't care who they play.
Yeah.
They can play the Clippers, and I got the Clippers.
I might, by the Eastern Conference Finals, I will win a whole warehouse of Diet Mountain Dew from this man.
So you're
across from me.
so in other words, you're anticipating the Cavaliers not getting there. Is that what you're telling me?
The Sixers have arrived 1 year ahead of schedule. They're just a better all-around basketball team than the Cleveland Cavaliers. They will win in 7 games over LeBron in Philly.
No mercy. Everyone knows Michael Jordan is still the GOAT, but for some reason, there are people that try to make a case for LeBron. Jordan was a perfect 6-0 in the finals, and LeBron is trying to make it to an 8th straight finals. Ray Allen said recently that Jordan is, quote, by far the best player ever. That was relayed to J.R. Smith, who said he disagrees with Ray. Let's take a listen.
By far, absolutely not, obviously. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, growing up, obviously, and I got the jersey tatted on my stomach. Like, MJ was the greatest of all time, in my opinion, up until 2 years ago. And I was with Ray Allen by far. But the last couple of years, at 33 years old, averaging the triple-double a whole month, walking into the playoffs. I mean, just hit 31,000 points the other day, hit 30,000 points earlier this year. 8,000 rebounds, 8,000 assists.
It's insane, bro. Like,
I mean, how far do we have? Like, what more do we have to keep going as far as whether it's numbers or just ability? Like, at what point do we just say when?
Shannon, do you think JR actually believes this?
I told you, my grandma said 3 people will tell you the truth: kids, drunk, and angry people. Now, it was early in the morning, and I know JR was on that warm hand. So I know he's speaking truth. Yeah. But, Skip, before I go make my thing, lately I've been taking a cue from Donovan Mitchell, Skip. And I hope you don't mind, Skip. I got a little something.
Oh, what is this? What does
You
it say?
went that far out of your way?
Hold on,
to get
Skip.
that?
Look. But just to make sure everybody knows, I mean, I deserve one.
What does
I
it
would
say?
vote for me. I would vote for me to win an Emmy. I mean, I would, Skip. I mean, I deserve it.
But you're a client of Clutch Sports or Unclutch Sports. That's how they do it. That's the Clutch Sports handbook says, say that you're the MVP, you're the Rookie of the Year.
Everybody been saying it.
Yeah.
Dame Lillard said he deserves to be All-NBA. This guy said he deserves to be Rookie of the Year. You got your guy politicking, talking about he want to be 6th Man of the Year. So why can't I
He's
politic?
not talking about it. I am. He hasn't said a word about it.
Well-
Manu Ginobili?
Well,
He
I would
doesn't
vote
do
for me.
that.
But anyway, yes, JR is telling the truth. And the man had, at some point in time, So Ray Allen is a Brand Jordan athlete. Is that the reason why he said it? Because see, anytime someone says someone other than Michael Jordan is the GOAT, we immediately go, okay, Isaiah said it. Well, Isaiah's mad because he came off the 92 Dream Team. Clyde Drexler said, well, he's mad because he got beat in the finals. At what point in time can a guy have a serious, honest discussion and say, well, okay, I just believe on what I've seen that LeBron is better? Why does it always have to be an ulterior? Why does it have to be, well, JR lying? Why does it have to be, oh, this guy has sport? No, Skip. After what I've seen, 31,000, and when it's all said and done, he will be 40,000, 10 and 10. You know what that means, Skip? 40,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, 10,000 assists, 5 regular season MVPs, and another 2 in the finals. And when it's all said and done, and a lot of times more gets said than done, but nobody will have been done more than that man. And that's that man to the right. Yeah, right.
Even you, Shannon Sharpe, do not believe that LeBron has already passed Michael Jordan, let alone passed him 2 years ago. JR is saying he did it 2 years ago.
Well, that's what
even
got my
you
attention.
Don't think that.
That's what got my attention. Because up until that point, I thought, okay, LeBron can gain him momentum. He's gained a little momentum. You know, that MC Hammer song, gain it. He started gaining momentum. But after he comes back from 3-1 down, Skip, and those last 3 games, 41, 11, and 5, 41, 12, and 6, and then a triple-double in the end to do it all. Oh, come on, Skip. Get a man his due. You know it.
This is so bad, it's laughable.
No, it's not.
J.R. Smith grew up in North Carolina and got in high school a tattoo right in the middle of his stomach of Jordan's jersey, his Bulls jersey, with the Jumpman logo above it and Jordan 2s going one way and the other off the jersey. I guess those are the first ones that JR wore, the 2s. I don't know. I personally would prefer these, but that's okay.
Skip, that was unnecessary. Look at you, about to pull a hamstring.
I did not pull a hamstring. I ran a long ways this morning, but I'm
sore.
still going. Yep. So the point is that JR is actually making the incredibly bogus argument that it's about career stats. He's going to do this. He averaged a triple-double for a month. Who cares? What does it mean? What does it matter? Let's get down to the truth of this issue. J.R. Smith is LeBron's teammate. What do you expect him to say? You're saying he doesn't have any ulterior motive? It's his only motive. No. Remember, he is playing with the thinnest skinned superstar in the history of sports, LeBron James. He is a great player, but what does Steven Jackson always say, sitting right here on Undisputed? He is the only superstar who has to keep telling you how great he is. And it's true. He has to wear sneakers, LeBron 15s, the other night in Madison Square Garden that say, I'm king. I'm king? We get it, LeBron. We know you're really good.
Skip, you know what I heard? I don't know how true it is. I say, but someone told me this, and it's coming from a very reliable source. I happen to be sitting right next to him when they uttered the words. Halle Berry must be told how great she looks.
Okay.
Why would you have to tell a woman of that stature that she looked good?
Well,
have you ever met a woman before?
Whoa!
I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah.
Exactly. So get that man and tell him how great he is and how fortunate you are to play alongside him.
What is J.R. Smith going to say on a podcast if he's asked who's better? Is he going to say, oh, obviously Jordan was better? He can't say that.
Yes, he can.
He's got to live with LeBron.
He can say, right, I believe when it's all said and done, LeBron James will surpass Michael Jordan. Because he's going to win another MVP. He's going to win another.
JR said he already passed him 2 years ago.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. He could have phrased it, but that's what Skip. If that's what that man feels, that's what he feels. Stop trying to get him to change his mind.
He's friends with. They're like running buddies when they're on the road. They go out together.
So.
Well, it's and I get it.
He wasn't with us when we got sushi. JR was with us.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, if somebody asks...
You don't even eat sushi.
You know, if somebody asks me who's the greatest tight end ever, I got to say publicly, it's my guy Shannon Sharpe.
Oh, you got to say that publicly.
I don't really believe it. But,
Okay.
Yeah. So how can we even... I wish JR were sitting here. I know JR. I would love to have him on the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say, JR, One guy is 6-0 in the finals with 6 MVPs, and the guy that you're saying is better is 3-5, and maybe about to be 3-6 in the NBA Finals. That's horrendously bad.
Okay,
I mean, did any of the epic fails that LeBron has suffered ever happen to Michael Jordan? You can say, well, he got off to a rocky start.
Did you watch him in the '95 Finals against the Orlando Magic when Nick Anderson stole the ball from him?
Yeah.
Did you see that, Skip?
Yeah, after he'd been out for 2 years.
I don't understand how that affects LeBron.
2
But
years.
so what you try? I see what you try to do, Skip. See what you try to do. You will always go back to 2011. But that '95.
I'll go back to 2010. His owner accused him of quitting. Did anybody ever accuse Michael Jordan of quitting?
Well, the quote was, they say they accused Noah of drunkenness, but he still got the ark. So
really?
what that doesn't mean it's the truth.
So let's see, LeBron and Noah belong.
I
don't know.
He got the ark, but they accused him. But with that, Skip, '95 happened. Nick Anderson stole the ball from Michael Jordan. Did he not, Skip?
Yeah, he did, but it was nothing like the greatest superstar meltdown we have ever witnessed, especially on a final stage. LeBron, Heat, Dallas, 2011. I've never seen anything like it before. Even the staunchest blind witnesses said they just couldn't watch it because he unraveled. He came completely apart.
Okay, but Skip, I think everybody, I'm just trying to figure out, if we just going to make it about finals, what is Bill Russell's 11 titles? What does that mean? Does that mean anything?
We're just doing Jordan versus LeBron. That's all.
But I'm just saying, I'm just trying to figure out, how did Jordan become the GOAT with 6 when Russell has 11?
Six MVPs? Wow.
They didn't have the MVP back then.
Okay.
You know that, Skip Bayless. The MVP now is known in honor of Bill Russell. So
you think Bill Russell is better than
I'm just asking because 11, we say titles. Because the only argument you go to is titles. You don't say, you go to title 6-0. So why is it Russell?
I'm sure that the fact that JR was on uninterrupted when he said it, that he's a client of Clutch Sports, that he plays with LeBron and he got that 4-year contract.
on
It
that
has
warm
nothing to
hand,
do
too.
with the fact that he said that Michael isn't as good as
I believe
LeBron.
JR. And JR got another tattoo on his back at 23 that says Braun.
Oh, does it?
Does he?
I did not know that.
I know.
I don't think
You didn't
JR
know.
knows that either.
There's a lot of things you don't know.
Somebody just made that up sitting across.
You do not want to get, but you know what, Skip? Sooner or later, you're going to have to say his name.
Who? I mean, doesn't he have to change his tattoo? Who wants the second best player of all time tattoo?
No. He going to put Braun over Jordan.
Oh,
Yeah.
Really? Just change the color of the jersey to wine, maybe?
Skip.
Yeah.
At some point in time, you're going to have to acknowledge the man's greatness. You don't have to don't do it now, but in about 2 months, you will.
No mercy. Lonzo Ball's highly scrutinized first season in the NBA is over. Lonzo said yesterday that Magic Johnson told him this offseason will be the, quote, biggest summer of his life. Lonzo averaged about 10 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists this season, but he also shot a disappointing 36% from the field and 45% from the free throw line. He talked about his shooting and the Lakers' future yesterday. Let's take a listen.
Did Magic and Rob and Luke, what did they have to say to you about your shooting? And what do you feel like you need to do to improve that shot?
Just shoot it with confidence for one, and then for two, just keep putting the work in. You know, don't change the form, nothing. I've been shooting like that my whole life, so they said they're fine with it. Just make sure I get the reps up. Yeah, just, perfect it pretty much. You want to be a good shooter, you got to shoot. And then, start making them and then translate it to the game.
Coming into the season, one of the things people said about you was that some of the pressure that was on you was to show guys like LeBron and Paul George that you were ready for them. Do you think you did that, and did you feel any of that pressure at any point this season?
No, the way I play is just to help my team win. So like I said, I'm not really worried about who's not here. I'm worried about the guys that are here, and I just did what I could, to help my team out. So whether it be LeBron, Paul George, or whoever, they liked it, they liked it. If they didn't, they didn't. I can't do anything about it now.
Shannon, what was your takeaway from what you heard from Lonzo?
He's absolutely right, Skip. This is a very important summer for him. But the first thing he needs to do before he works on that jump shot, Skip, is to get into the gym. He has to get stronger. He has to be able to ward off some of these injuries. So once he does that, Kevin Martin had a funky shot, Skip. There were 6 seasons he averaged at least 20 points, had the career average of 17. So I wouldn't completely redo it because he's been shooting like this. He's 20 years of age. He's been shooting like this for at least 15 of those years. So just look, you're gonna have to put that time in. And He can work. I mean, he can get this shot better. Like I said, Kevin Martin had a very similar shot.
He did.
And he was able to get that shot off and average 20 points for 6 seasons. So I believe Lonzo can do that. But he must get stronger in his lower body and his upper body, Skip, because these injuries, they kept him down for far too long.
I agree with you. He's got to get his, as his father would say, ball body going. He's got to mature physically, and I believe he will. Might start with changing his nutrition because I don't think it's very good at this point, but you know how kids are.
Yes.
But I'm not as concerned about the jump shot as I am by the free throws. You cannot last in this league shooting 45%. He was 32 of 71 free throws. That means you didn't shoot enough to start with. And number two, you're kind of running from the free throw line because you're just afraid you're going to look bad at the free throw line. What was the difference in his jump shot and his free throw line shot? He tried to shoot it conventionally. At the free throw line, he tried to shoot it on the right side of his face, right?
Yeah.
And it looked awkward, and it kind of made me wince just to watch it because I don't think he had any faith in his little conventional set shot from the free throw line. That's what he should work on first because he can't. He's 6'7", and he's got gears, so he can get in the lane.
Right.
He could get to the brim if he wanted to. Well, he better, or he's not going to last in this league. And then number two, what caught my ear was not what Magic said about this is an important summer. Obviously, it's a crucial summer. But Kyle Kuzma said yesterday that Lonzo, and Kyle's his best buddy, Lonzo needs to, if you get this phrase right, attack his mentality, meaning he's got to get tougher mentally and commit to playing harder. Did anybody in the Lakers play harder than Kyle Kuzma? Did anybody come in with a greener light, just jacking it up?
Look at Julius Randle.
Yeah.
His mentality is, I'm going to the rack,
Yeah.
stop me.
Yeah.
So that's also, Lonzo is going to have to adopt that policy. I'm going to the rack, stop me. But I agree with Magic. I wouldn't change his shot, Skip. He's been shooting like this so long. I believe you would set him back. Let him have the shot, but let him know he's going to have to work on it, and he's going to have to shoot it, work on it, shooting a jumper with it. Because, Skip, he can't get it off right now.
Yep.
Because right now it's a set shot.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to learn how to shoot that shot while jumping into the air. But he has the ability. I don't see transcendental like you, but I believe he can be a very good basketball player.
I'm going to go to my grave saying that his father basically did him in his rookie year because I will remind you, despite, this is beyond all the outlandish claims that he made about how Lonzo's already better than Steph. Just remember what happened. In November, LeVar Ball criticized Julius Randle. You can't do that.
No.
He's his teammate, and he's a veteran teammate or an older teammate.
And he wants to give you respect because you're his teammate's father.
What? You can't do that. And then in January, LeVar Ball dared to say publicly, the team has quit on Coach Luke Walton. Really? The team has quit and your son's the point guard of the team? How do you think that went off in the locker room?
Not very well.
I don't know how Luke, I don't know what was going on, but it had to be uneasy at best on this 20-year-old to have to respond and play after that. So I'm giving him some break. But what I saw this year that I did not see at UCLA or never heard about on the AAU level was Lonzo Ball, too many games, just unplugged. He just came out effortless, emotionless, like he didn't really care.
Right.
Too many times I saw him walk the ball up the floor and flip it to the wing and go stand in the far corner. I don't know who that was. I didn't see it in the summer league.
Well, I agree with you. The thing that I'm most surprised by, because there was no indication and I never heard anyone mention anything about him being this poor of a free throw shooter.
Yeah.
I don't think he didn't struggle like this at UCLA, Skip.
No.
So, and like you said, maybe that's one of the things like, you know what, if I get in the lane, they foul me, I'm gonna have to go to the free throw line. Well, I'm struggling on that end, so I don't really want to go to the free throw line and be 0 for 2 because he wasn't even 50%, Skip. He's under that.
Yeah.
So that's not a good look. But that's, like I said, get your body right.
Get your mind right.
Get your mind right.
Get your emotions right. I'm okay with 10, 7, and 7 because it's what Jason Kidd did as a rookie, basically. And I'm okay that he ranked 26th in defensive win shares, which is pretty good for a rookie. But I'm not good with the free throws or the intensity.
Well, now he has a summer to work on it.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. Keep an eye out for a weekend edition of the podcast tomorrow morning, featuring the best discussions and segments from this week. We'll be back with more Undisputed on Monday morning at the same time, 9:30 Eastern. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Fox Sports, one of one.